What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel here on Super Duper Garage. Today we're talking about ball joints, specifically the ball joint deletes from American Iron Offroad. The ball joints on these Terra 60s, they've been on here since 2018 and they're starting to create a little popping noise, got a little bit of movement in them. They've done their job. Surprisingly, they really haven't caused any issues, thankfully. But we're upgrading to these bad boys. I've never actually done ball joints. I've seen them done. I've watched Ben's videos over at JK Gear and Gadgets multiple times. I've texted Ben some. So we'll see. We'll get to working on it, and hopefully we don't break anything, but we shouldn't. It's overall a fairly straightforward job, but follow along and we'll see what we can get into. All right, guys. All right, of course, the first step is jacking one side up and So the main reason I put it on jack stands is just so when I'm taking everything apart, I'm able to steer it and I don't have one tire on the ground. I don't have a lift in my garage, and I'm hoping one day I'll be able to build my own shop. I really need, but that's a side note. But this way I'm able to manipulate the steering and I'm able to turn it, especially when I'm able to get these brakes off. So start working on getting the brakes off. So that's the next step. So real quick with the jack stands, you can see steering, I'm able to turn it all the way one direction to where I can get to the caliper bolts much easier with an impact, getting these bad boys off. Alrighty, I got the caliper off. One thing I'm going to try on this side to see if I can do, so this is a full float hub, meaning I have true lockouts. Now, most people that use these are putting them on like 05 and up Super Duties, which they may have a lockout, but it's not like a, I wouldn't say it's like a true full float lockout like this Teraflex or like a Yukon or like an old school style lockout, just the way it works. There's a lot of moving little pieces in here. It's not that it's that terrible tearing it apart, but it is dirty, it is greasy, and it is somewhat of a pain. So what I'm going to attempt to do is on the back side of this hub, there are these. These are 4 Allen heads, and basically 2 on each side. You remove each side and you can pull this whole hub assembly along with the shaft. Now, you have to remove the shaft anyway to basically get to the lower nut to get this hub out, and you got to get this thing off anyway. Even if I remove this, I still have to get this part off, which is basically the spindle. So I'm going to have to remove these anyway. So why not see if I can just remove it as just one whole piece. Now, of course, this is the long side. That's why I'm trying this side first, since it's going to be considered the hard side, since it's the long shaft side. So we'll get these 2 off. I'll go turn the Jeep to the on position, turn the steering back this way, then I'll go ahead and disconnect both the drag link and the tie rod end and get the other 2 sides, and then probably straighten it out, and we'll see what happens. We'll go from there. Well, as you can see, came out. There's a whole assembly. It actually worked out pretty good. And now it smells like gear oil. All right, on each side of the ball joint, there's actually a snap ring. That wasn't too bad. All right, I have never used a ball joint tool. All right, this will be a little bit hard to film, but I could not get this stupid thing with the ball joint press. They say they work, so I'm at my buddy Trevor's shop. Good old hydraulic press. And you can see it finally moving. The stupid mother effer. All right, I'm gonna need my hands back. All right, now that we got it back from the hydraulic press, which worked fucking wonders, by the way. So we pulled it out of the freezer. Real nice and slow. All right, we got these two sides in, and on the lower, as you can see, here's pretty flush, but it's enough for the snap ring. It's got to go in. On the upper, flush here. From what I can tell, that's all the way seated. Doesn't seem to want to go anymore. Oops, I gotta pay attention to what I'm doing here. I didn't seem to want to go in anymore, and I didn't want to try to force it anymore. All right, everyone, I got the knuckle in, and the next part is setting this bushing. This is what's called a caster bushing. It could also adjust camber, but camber has to do with the way the tires kind of lie, and that's more to do with the tuner guys, not necessarily with us off-road guys. But this is a 1.5 degree bushing, which is what I have. And these axles, even though they are Teraflex Dana 60s, they're kind of based on the 99 to 04, which is pretty common for the aftermarket axle world to base their 60s off of. They designed their 60s a long time ago, them, Dynatrack, etc., 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 before the 05 and ups came up. So that's why their ridge is right here. If you have an 05 and up, you're going to have a ridge actually on the back side. And the way you mess with this is going to be a little different. So every 15 degrees actually changes your caster just a little bit. So I already have it set to about 90. And in my other hand, this was the stock bushing that was in here. And from Teraflex, you can even see right there is a 0 degree bushing. So for whatever reason, once I notch this, if I don't like this, I can actually come in, take this nut off, take this out, and throw in the 0 degree bushing and go back to where it was before. But I kind of doubt I'll do that. I bet you anything I'm going to like it. But I'll definitely keep these. No reason to get rid of these. You never know if I might need it. But for now, I need to make sure that is 90 degrees. Take a mark, cut this off. That way I can lay this flat, because right now, as you can tell, there is a gap. And then we'll get this knuckle, which is right there, back on the Jeep. All right, guys, we got knuckle on. We've just finger tight. As you can tell, I got the upper shim trimmed down roughly 90 degrees for that 1.5 degree bushing. Both sides just tight. The lower is supposed to be 100 foot-pounds and the upper is supposed to be roughly 80. I'll probably start off just a little lower to get it and make sure the knuckle will still turn properly, and step it up as we go up to 180. That way we don't over torque it just by accident. That's the last thing we need to do. And each time we torque it, we'll make sure we move the knuckle. That way there we don't have any issues going on, no binding of any kind. So let's get that started. All right, we got the bushing on this side. I'll try to show you the whole process on this side. I got interrupted on the other side. I had a card table for sale and the people ended up swinging by, so I had to take a quick break. And then I had to find a charger for the phone. Had to clear up some storage on my phone. All right, we're dropping it down. Let's start. According to the instructions and Ben's video, hint, hint, Ben. I've been texting Ben. 100 foot-pounds on the lower, 80 foot-pounds on the upper. Make sure it's still recording. keep forgetting to do an exit part of the video for the ball joint deletes, and it's been a few months since I actually completed installing them. But all I gotta say is they are worth every dollar, and whatever vehicle you have, whether it's Jeep or full-size rig and are needing ball joints, they are definitely an upgrade that I highly recommend. The ball joint deletes from American Iron Offroad, they are worth every penny. They did great on a week-long wheeling trip with the Unlimited LJ adventure. I destroyed other stuff, but the ball joints definitely was not part of that, and they did great. And I'm still new to trying to gather videos and putting stuff together. If you want a better video of the American Iron ball joint deletes, head over to JK Gear and Gadgets. Ben has a great couple videos, both his Super Duty axle and his Dana's 44 axle. So head over there, and don't forget guys, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you.